right. Hail the Void is a psychedelic doom metal band from Victoria, British Columbia, and Memento Mori is their second album. It's their second full length, and it's the one where they button everything up and they get their shit together in a more serious way. Not that there was anything inherently wrong with their self-produced and pretty great debut back a couple of years ago, but this one has a lot more backing. It has a bigger label, and Bob Blasco, former Cryptic Slaughter bassist, Aussie bassist, all that, is endorsing this record per the label here. So there's a big endorsement up front as to why, hey, this is pretty good. And I think I agree. I think it's a pretty good psychedelic doom metal album that takes a little bit of the edge off of like an Electric Wizard style band, and then simmers it into something closer to the vibe of like Wind Hands, self-titled through Grief's Eternal Flower, and late '90s Acid King, which was just it's just a psychedelic but a higher fidelity type of doom metal, which is most often considered stoner doom metal. And the closest comparison I could make in terms of just the general vibe of it is probably like Spelljammer, if you know that record from a couple years ago. Um, it's a little bit heady, watery, and it's more fluid sense of movement and all that. And you're getting fairly standard stoner doom metal riffs to brace a lot of this work. Some of it will feel familiar in the singles as you cut through those, but that isn't really what's interesting about this record. The vocals are actually the really strong part of this record. They sell it not only in feeling this distraught, stoned, and existential dread, but also the performances are just impressive. And not only, well, if I'm praising a vocal performance that has effects on it, it must be something to it. So to get there, we'll listen to a clip and then see where that takes us. You might not know me, you might not care, but I've seen this all before and you completely unknown. So Talking to the Dead, it definitely is the piece to speak most to the Electric Wizard fan. Like I said, you're going to get that if you're part of the Dope Throne generation, as I would put it, the new millennium hit, and you had a big album that taught you what Stoner Doom was going to be for the next 20 years, this will be a song that gets you in there. But really, like Writing on the Wall and later on 100 Pills, even Goldwater right after the opener, they have a little bit more harmony in the vocal performances. They're a little bit more expressive. They're telling a more distraught story. I think that the feeling of the record is in those three songs. And I think the disenfranchisement of 100 Pills towards the end of the album helps to sell this whole progression. It's a descent, and it's this dreary occult feeling that sinks through the album in an interesting way that helps it stand out from a lot of the more boisterous and kind of just enjoying their high kind of records in this style. So that stuck with me. I thought it was pretty impressive overall in terms of the very sharp production values and the again, the excellent vocals which carry the album in a significant way. So this was a very high recommendation. I probably just made a typo there, and it should just be a high recommendation at 80 out of 100, but you get it. It's a good album. And yeah, it's you can read more about that in the review, and listen to another song on the way out. You fucked up!